Talos out of his pen for his last time. I would just like to say I am a legend at packing my tack room with so much stuff. You're the Maverick, buddy. Want a donut? Get you a donut. He's eating! Good boy. Getting alfalfa in the parking lot. Alright, we are here in venue in Gilbert, and I have no idea what to do. I've never been here. Alright, go for it.
Risking lives over here.
Look at his face. He's about to bolt off.
I'm kind of worried.
This is a bad angle. Hang on.
Oh goodness. Oh goodness. Oh goodness. There he goes. Hi, honey.
How did you not die just now?
What is it with that?
I didn't spend long in there because the ground was a little wet and he was kind of struggling to find his footing in it. And there were some ropers warming up for a roping that was going on and what was going to be our show ring the next day. And so the warm-up ring started to get pretty chaotic with them all riding around. I'm all tucked into bed. He's got his hay nets. He's always got something to munch on, and his pellets. His waters. He has been drinking so much. I swear to God, I just filled these. Oh my God. He drank all his, I literally had these full. He drank all of it. I'm gonna need to get him another bucket, because, dude. I like get on my horse, and they're driving both arenas. Yay!
Handling and conditioning. We're going to start with adult riding. They're not riding for this class. We're going to start with hit number 1, Ellen.
Okay, so going into this class, I clearly did not spend enough time getting him super engaged and getting all his maneuvers really snappy, because he was a little distracted going into the ring and nothing was quite as snappy as I know he can do it. He got so distracted, I think he was looking at the trailer that was like right out of the frame, because he just kind of lost focus, and he'd never done that at home. He always stayed trotting as long as I was trotting. And I was so disappointed because I had worked so hard on his stop from the trot and I didn't get to show that off, so I was pretty frustrated, and the rest of our class ended up looking kind of rushed, messy. That pivot wasn't our best work. He kind of swiveled his butt away here, and I was like so disappointed. I was like, come on man, you ground tie so perfect at home. And then of course he has to like scratch his shoulder, and I'm like, dude, pay attention. But it was definitely my fault for getting frustrated with him, which is why he didn't want to go in the trailer. I cannot tell you how much time and effort I put into getting this big heavy horse to pick up his humongous hooves as nicely and softly as he does here. It took so much time to convince him that it was worth it to just pick up at the slightest pull instead of waiting for me to like tug on them with all my might. He was just like, this is way too much effort, but he finally figured it out. Here's where everything completely fell apart. He didn't even want to consider going near the trailer at first. It was really disappointing. I had just loaded him on like so many trailers in the parking lot, and he did it just fine. But because I was frustrated and anxious and rushing, everything was really messy, and he was just like, this is too chaotic. I don't even want to go in this thing. And so it took him a little bit. It felt like hours. It felt way longer than it actually was. And I was this close to just excusing myself from the ring, and he finally did it. I was just like wiggling him back and forth. I'm like, come on dude, please just consider it. Please just consider it. He just kind of inching him closer, and then he finally was like, okay. needless to say, I was super disappointed, and the first thing I did the next morning after I got back to Snowflake was back my trailer into the arena and load him on it 50 times. Because if you ask Talos, loading in an arena is very different to loading in a parking lot.
I like the Crocs too.
It's so funny. They had to keep riding back and forth. Good. She wouldn't get still. And then she'd all of a sudden just like book and go running, and then she just so terrible. But I think we got really good pictures, so we called it an action show. Yeah.
Might be a little bit of a big job.
Aw, she's trying. Next it was time to warm up for our maneuvers class, and we got a little bit of time in the show ring to just let our horses move around in there and get used to it. Before my maneuvers class, I made a mistake of riding him a little too much in the outdoor arena, which was really hot, and it was sunny and bright and humid, and neither of us were used to it, and he accidentally got a little too hot and sweaty. I ended up actually getting off and like hosing him down a little bit, and so I went into this class cold with no warm-up pretty much because we'd just been standing around, and you could tell he's all wet because I'd been hosing him off. And so unfortunately we missed this lead because he was just kind of wiggly and like not really in the zone yet. He wasn't really listening too well at first, and so that lead was definitely my fault because I asked him before he was quite ready. But the rest of the class was really pretty. I was super happy with how it went, but really disappointed about that lead. But in the moment I was just like, all right, we messed that one up, let's just keep moving on and just do the rest as best as we can, and that's what we did. I was really happy with this transition, and this lope here was just beautiful. He was nice and collected, he was super soft, and he felt amazing. Unfortunately, there was this annoying support in the way of getting like most of the video, but the photographer got a really cool photo. Been given a goat for some reason, and now it's mine, and I'm taking it home with me. Wow, my hair looks really bad. It looks so messy. It's so cute. Look at it. Look at it. Next we had our trail class, and I made a huge mistake in the middle of it, but otherwise I was actually really proud of how he did. He worked this gate beautifully. I was so sad there was no gate in Fort Worth because he was so good at working it. This was completely my fault. You can't see it in the frame, but I accidentally passed the side pass pole. You're supposed to stop right beside it. And here I made a huge mistake. So he side passed right, and he kind of touched the pole a little bit there, and then I stopped and hesitated just a second too long, and he started to anticipate, and he actually side passed off the pole, which I did not ask him to do. And then he got frustrated, and he pawed the pole. And the judges told me later, they were like, we weren't really sure what to do because he like side passed it, but he messed it up first. So I'm not really sure how they scored me on that maneuver. I really should have looked at my scorecards, but I was like, whatever, moving on. That was completely my fault. Poor Talos. He was like, keep side passing. Wait, now I'm off the pole. Now I have to get back on the pole. And he was kind of peeking at these, and I'm like, dude, come on. And so they told us it was half a point off for every time you nicked one of these, and I was like, that's funny. I'm going to get a 0 because Talos doesn't really pick up his feet high if he can help it. And if you listen closely, you can actually hear Abby outside the ring cheering me on. And I was holding back laughter because she was like, yeah, you left them up. And I thought Talos completely obliterated all the poles. So I was happy to hear that at least. So they told us in the walkthrough that it's okay if you have to move your horse's hip a little so that they actually fit in the box, which I ended up having to doing. I got too ambitious. I was like, yeah, I can do a pivot in this box. And Talos didn't do anything wrong. He's just way too big. That night I ran through my freestyle, and we ended up only running through it once because we were starting to anticipate really bad, and so I ended up just doing a few of the individual obstacles and then calling it a night. So we actually had a mishap with the pedestal before I ran through the whole thing, where he like stepped too far over it and it came up and hit his stomach, and then he became really anxious about it. So we definitely had to do a lot of work on that. So I was like, alright, whatever, skipping it, moving on. Afterwards, hosed him off and let him have a nice roll in the arena. Pulling up on freestyle morning, like all my props. Where's she going? Okay, now it's time for my freestyle, and I'm gonna expose myself a little here. It did not go how I hoped. I was super stressed and anxious and rushing, and he was stressed as a result, and he was like, why are we scared? So like here I like pulled too tight on the inside rein and he tossed his head. It wasn't the prettiest run that we've ever done. I actually came to the wrong side over here. I messed myself up. And I ended up doing the same thing in Fort Worth, so whatever. It's fine. We backed through the cones. He did not want to go on the pedestal because he was still anxious about it. We had practiced it, but not enough. So he was like, no, can't do that today. And I was like, all right, moving on. Not a huge deal. I did try for a little bit, but then I was like, all right, whatever. So none of this was super pretty or great. I messed myself up because we were supposed to come off the pedestal facing the other way, and I like completely threw myself off, which messed up my turnarounds. So yeah, that wasn't great. And then over here I was like, all right, I need to get him not to walk over the rope, and he walked over the rope. I was like, great, that's my fault. So now I have to make sure his back legs are off the rope before I pick it up. And he was anticipating so bad. And he's like, come on, let's go. We're supposed to lope now. And so, yeah, that wasn't great that he was anticipating so much. I ran through my freestyle too many times in practice. He jumped that a little messy. And then here was just messy and stressed, and everything was rushed, and we were not having a great time. And so I'm showing this because I want to show you what we did in Fort Worth and be like, hey, this was way better, because I actually had a way better attitude about the whole thing. I hit the snake. That was pretty cool. And then I was like, all right, bridle off time. And he was already walking off. Should I have taken the bridle off in this situation? Absolutely not. Don't be like me. I was like, we've got this. We're fine. And we weren't fine. And so he started going the wrong way, and we were supposed to lope right lead first, and I went for left lead, and he picked up the wrong lead, and he was running his shoulder out. And then he got a little spicy because I was using too much leg pressure, and then we managed a flying lead change for some reason. I did not ask him for a flying lead change. I asked him to break down to the trot. And then we come over here, and I was like, all right, trot before this jump, and he loped the jump, and then the curtain fell, and he was like, whoa, that just happened, and he didn't stop right away. And so he went over to the fence, and we were like, shit, well, I'm screwed. And so I got him back. He didn't, like, completely go out of control. Got him back, and you can't really see what's happening here, but I was basically trotting him away from the gate, and then I hopped off and went and did our laydown. So yeah, that was a huge mess, and I was really disappointed. The bridleless didn't go well. The curtain fell over. I can't believe the curtain broke. And yeah, so basically it was not great, and that's why I decided I'm not going to do bridleless in Fort Worth, because what happened was I jumped towards the gate, and then he was like, "Get me out of here, this is scary." The curtain just fell right behind me. And honestly, I don't really blame him. The most important part of any Tip Challenge awards ceremony is obviously the croc contest, by the way.
Oh my god.
As everyone knows, you can't have a tip challenge without a croc race. I accidentally filmed this in slow-mo, so enjoy the drama. Don't have any more videos of awards, but we ended up second in handling conditioning, third in maneuvers, first in trail, and then second again in freestyle, and we came in reserve champion overall, which was really exciting, and we brought home a really pretty buckle in this beautiful head stall.